Hey guys, welcome to Pinetree Lane. My name is Doug, and I'm here on episode 2 of Outside Thoughts from Inside the Shed. Just a little series I put together to kind of communicate with you about things that are going on in the outdoors, things that may be personal to some people, and maybe not so much to others. If you have any ideas or stuff that you'd like to talk about, feel free to drop them in the comments, and we can discuss them moving forward. The thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today was a comment that I got on a video a little while ago, and it kind of struck me because I've gotten similar comments before, and I don't think this comment was made with any kind of negativity, what have you, but it was asking some questions. So I thought I did answer the individual, and I thought this would be an interesting topic to bring up today. And yeah, it's about canoeing. Middle of winter, let's talk canoeing. So the question was asked by K-Town C936, and they say, really good question here. Number one, what double blade are you using? Number one. Number two, how tall are you? Number three, how did you size the double blade so the shaft doesn't hit the gunnel? Number four, why not paddle single blade and learn the goon stroke from Mark, meaning Mark from Open Air Outdoors, who I do a lot of canoeing with, or the much more effective J stroke from Casey Camper or Pine Martin? Okay, all fair questions, nothing negative, and I think that, once again, I didn't take it negatively, but I have heard comments in the past about my paddling and the paddling stroke I use, and so on. So this is what I answered. I'm using the Pelican Poseidon 98.5-inch double blade. I'm 6 feet tall. I bought the longest double blade I could find for a reasonable cost, and thankfully have no issues hitting the gunnel. I do paddle goon as well, but I don't always show it in videos because most of the time I'm using the double blade because I enjoy using that much more because of speed and strength I get from that, especially when it's windy. I've tried the J stroke many times, but don't really like it. My wrists just don't, it's not working for me. And I just basically said bottom line is I do what works for me and gives me the most enjoyment out in the water. There are no rules as to how you have to paddle, and I don't get caught up in that kind of stuff. I just want to have some fun. I mean, I paddled in Portage an inflatable kayak at Woodland Caribou Provincial Park, and like, who does that? Me. Thanks for the questions, and happy paddling out there, however you do it. So basically, I get it. I understand that we as human beings get on YouTube, read magazines, forums, what have you, that there are certain ways to do things that are probably the most efficient and best ways, like the J stroke. And I have nothing against the J stroke or anything like that. It's just I've tried it and it doesn't really work for me. I don't find it enjoyable. It hurts my wrists, so I find it uncomfortable, so I don't use it. And so I use a variation of the goon stroke that Mark taught me, and sometimes I don't even think about the stroke I'm using when I'm single blade paddling. I adopted double blade paddling quite early on in the last few years, and enjoy that a lot more. And even though it's not like cool, or whatever, I didn't really care, but it's kind of interesting that some other guys were doing it too. Justin Barber, John from Lost Lakes, so guys are doing it. It's not like, oh my God, it's a faux pas to, use a double blade. It's efficient, it's fast, it's great, especially when you're going against the wind. Living here, northeastern Ontario, near Sudbury, Ontario, it's windy. It's windy a lot. It's windy quite often. So this is, something that we're dealing with. I'm mostly paddling on lakes, bigger lakes, so there's more wind as opposed to the small rivers or creeks. When I do get into rivers or creeks, I use my paddle, my otter tail paddle. So there's no, other reason for that. And basically using the tools that, make it the most enjoyable experience for me. So there was a time when I think I had mentioned to Mark a couple of times that, maybe I shouldn't be doing this on video or whatever. I'm just going to get criticized. And I think sometimes that, you know, we as humans get worried about getting criticized for things that we do. But ultimately, I just want to get out there and enjoy the outdoors. And I don't think it really matters how you do that. I don't think it matters how you go about doing that, as long as you're getting out there. So whatever you're seeing on TV or you're seeing on YouTube or what have you, or whether it's what I'm doing or someone else is doing, just do it the way you feel comfortable doing it. I've seen some guys, man, do some camping a lot of different ways, and they got some great ideas, and they make it really fun and simple and stuff like that. And if that works for you and you're getting outdoors, then who cares? I used to do a lot of MRE videos in the past, meals ready to eat, and do reviews of those army rations. And I don't, you know, people criticizing me, I wasn't eating the rations or testing the rations the right way. I mean, who can tell you how to eat? You can eat any way you want, any way you choose. So I see this as, you know, we're heavily influenced by influential people, and there are influential people out there in, let's say, the canoe world that are doing some awesome things, and good for them. I mean, I watch those videos too, and I watch these guys do some crazy stuff that I would never do. Totally have respect for them and how they go about doing it, and I think it's great. But I think it's also great how I do it, or how Mark does it, or how anybody does it, because we're all getting out there and we're enjoying the outdoors and we're making the most of our experience. And I think that's the most important thing. In terms of finding gear and equipment, it's all trial and error. Like I talked about the size of the double blade, I went on Amazon, I found the cheapest double bladed paddle I could find that was the longest I could get. And that's how I ended up with that Poseidon double blade, and it's worked great for me, and I don't hit the gunnels or anything. And my new canoe here, the Cirrus River, is actually, the Quantico is actually a little wider than my previous canoe, and it's still, you know, it's still doing the job fine. So again, if that's helpful to you as a viewer to ask questions like that, then that's fine. I don't want it to get lost, or I don't want people to start thinking that if they don't do things a certain way, then they're not doing it properly. It's like I've long maintained, and I've said in many videos before, the clothing you wear, you know, make sure it's comfortable, it's going to keep you warm, or it's going to keep you dry, what have you. But it doesn't have to say Arc'teryx on it, or what have you. You don't have to wear, you know, Fall Raven $300 pants to be, you know, a bushcraft guy or somebody who gets out in the outdoors. Just, you know, wear what's affordable and what gets you out there, because, you know, unless you're filming it for YouTube, no one's going to see what pants you're wearing or care, last I checked anyways. So that's what I want to talk to you about on this episode, was just the fact that don't fall under the thinking that you have to do things a certain way. Do whatever it takes, and however you can do it, to get outside and enjoy the outdoors just like anybody else. No one is more special than you. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, guys.